Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulot and welcome to WeaponsAcademy.com. This is episode 4 of Ammo Shortage, how to train and maintain your skills during an ammo crisis. Today we're going to talk about the combat reload. Now the combat reload is what I consider a master key move or a master key drill. So what happens in a combat reload is you've expended the last round in your magazine, the slide is locked to the rear, and obviously there's still an imminent threat or you wouldn't be firing. You have to quickly reload your weapon, get it back into service, and continue the situation, whether it be to continue shooting or to cover and scan your threat. Now, there's three different ways that we generally teach the combat reload. So in this video, we're gonna highlight a basic method first, and after that, we're gonna look at a more advanced method, something you can work on at home, something you can dry fire during your downtime, which we seem to have an excess of these days, but to enhance the speed of the combat reload. Something you're going to hear me emphasize again and again in the video is reload fast, but shoot accurately. So we're still going to go back to the previous episode and work the basics of trigger control and link them with the combat reload. Let's get into it. Okay, in today's episode, we're going to discuss the combat reload. Now, in the combat reload, there's three things that have to happen. A magazine has to come out, a magazine has to go in, and the slide has to go forward. Now what we're going to do first is discuss some of the most economical ways to make those three things happen. Okay, now before we begin, I am in an indoor environment for right now, and just to kind of simulate how you could do this at home, once again we are in kind of a shelter in place, ammo shortage, etc. Be sure and safety check your weapon. I've checked the chamber, I've checked the magazine well, I've checked all the magazines that I'm going to be working with, and I can easily see that there's nothing in there. So go through that same check procedure at home, okay? Now, I'm going to talk to you about actioning the slide first, okay? Because this is part of the action of the combat reload, but I just want to clarify something before we get into it. If I use the slide lock to release the slide's going to move from here forward, okay? And normally that's good enough. If I use the hand over method and I pull the slide to the rear and then release it, okay, I got almost an extra ½ inch of travel in the slide, which means I'm using more of the power of the recoil spring to push the slide forward. When I teach students as beginners, I use the hand over method, okay? I use the hand over method and aggressively action that slide, okay? For me, and what you're going to see me doing in this presentation is I'm going to be using more of the slide lock to release the slide, because this is going to be more about speed at this point. Although we're going to take our time, work our shots like we have been in previous videos, exercising those fundamentals, combat reload is an emergency situation, okay? So whether you're doing this for the street, for self-defense, as this series is, or if you're doing it for competition, you want to do it as quickly as possible. Save some time to make better shots, but reload fast. Okay, so as we get into the mechanics of this, I have a piece of cardboard on the ground here because it's not healthy for your magazines to drop these on the cement repeatedly. Now, if you got carpet in your living room, that's good enough, but it can damage the base plates, okay? Now, so basically after we fired the last round, we're gonna find ourselves in this position. We've got an empty magazine in the weapon, and we've got the slide that's locked to the rear. So that's what we have to deal with. Now, I'm gonna talk about the magazine release first, okay? Now, the majority of you don't have the thumb to actually reach that, and you have to somewhat come up and break your grip. So here's where the first step of the combat reload comes in. Okay, from a full presentation, when I fired that last round, okay, my support hand, in my case my left hand, has to go for the next magazine, okay? During the process of recovering that next magazine, I'm going to pull the weapon towards me. And this is very subtle, but when I pull it towards me, it contacts my left thumb, and that depresses, my right thumb, and that depresses the magazine release, thus causing the magazine to fall. That looks like this. Okay? Now notice the pistol is in a vertical position here, being it's more straight up and down. I don't like to collapse it and then release the magazine because it's falling out at an angle. By keeping it vertical, okay, the magazine falls straight down, thus maximizing the use of gravity to release that magazine. Okay, so watch how I do this in close. This is very, very subtle, okay? So from a full presentation, okay, I'm basically just nudging the pistol with my finger or with my finger and my thumb, and as I turn it right in to the release thumb right there, and the magazine, utilizing gravity, goes straight down, okay? If you cant the pistol like this when you depress the magazine release, you're gonna find that because of the angle, friction works against you. Now back in the day, we used to have to flip those Glock magazines out because they got that worked out, I'll put it that way, okay? They didn't quite have the exact fit, and there was more friction involved, and you have to use that centrifugal force. That's all been taken care of, okay? So let's look at it again in close, okay? I fired my last round, my slide locks to the rear. As I go for my magazine, I depress that mag release, and with the pistol more or less in the vertical position, okay, that magazine falls to the ground. Now my thumb goes right on top of the slide lock, okay? As I drop that elbow, and basically the magazine and the mag well are looking at each other, okay? I have this is what I call the peripheral position, because I can see everything that I need to do with my peripheral vision, and I can keep an eye on the threat, or I can focus on my weapon and see my threat with the peripheral vision. It works both ways. But if you look at the position of the thumb, it's resting right on top. As I insert the magazine, okay, the motion, the mag well and the magazine are looking at each other. My elbow is anchored. I've got my weapon in my peripheral position, okay? But by inserting this forward, okay, and up, as I drive that magazine in, it actually pushes the pistol slightly forward, and it acts like, because of the counter pressure between the slide lock here and the thumb, all right, they actually work together to release that slide, and then I'm back to a two-hand grip and on target again. So watch this. This is the mag in portion, okay? Once again, thumb is on top of the slide lock, okay? I insert the magazine, and as I drive, okay, I'm gonna drive the whole pistol, the entire pistol, okay? And I'm exaggerating that. It's very, very subtle, but it's just enough to drive that pressure and the counter pressure of my thumb against that slide lock to release the slide, and I go forward. Instead of having a pause in here, okay? This would be a pause as I insert, release, and then forward, okay? Now, once again, using the counter pressure method of the thumb on top of the slide lock, okay, it happens almost automatically, like those two items are actually part of the mechanics of the weapon. Just to emphasize magazine pouch and placement, okay? My emergency reload, my number one reload, I try to have it as accessible as possible. So and then I just work down my belt line from there, okay? So let's set our pistol up like we just fired our last round, okay? I'm at full presentation. I just fired my last round, okay? Mag out, okay? Once again, I'm gonna just move my left hand to the magazine, and as I do, I'm gonna collapse the pistol, and that happens automatically. Now, as the magazine comes toward the pistol, okay, they're looking at each other. My thumb goes right over the top of the slide lock, and as I insert that, this is the mag in, they work together, and the slide forward happens almost automatically. I punch out, and I'm right back on target again, okay? Let's look at that again. Set this up. I've just fired my last round, okay? Mag out, mag in, slide forward, and it all happens automatically. Okay, so let's put this all together. All right, so empty magazine in the weapon. My number one mag pouch is ready. All right, so I've just fired my last round. So the first step is mag out. Okay, once again, keeping the pistol in a vertical position. Okay, I'm gonna position the pistol or basically nudge it, move it right into the thumb, and that causes a release, okay? As I collapse the pistol slightly into my peripheral, my thumb goes right on top of the slide lock, okay? So I get that counter pressure when I drive that magazine forward, okay, mag in, and not only am I inserting the magazine, it's almost like it's an automatic process. As I drive that magazine, just the counter pressure of my thumb releases the slide, and that's the slide forward, and I'm right back on target, okay? That's how you get your speed in your combat reload, by utilizing that particular technique right there. Now, what you don't want to do is apply pressure with the thumb okay, too early, or you're going to release the slide before the magazine seats. And that happens, but you don't want it to happen in a street fight, okay? The thumb is merely just positioned against the slide lock, okay? And the action of inserting the magazine into the pistol, okay, it's a counter pressure, causes that to drop, and there's your slide forward, okay? So work with that a little bit. Just do it in a dry fire environment. When we come back, we're going to go live on the range. Okay, so for those of you who train in indoor ranges, we've got this set up with I've got a table here, and I've just folded a jacket up to catch my magazines as we fall. Now, I know some ranges, they don't want to let you to reload, okay? But you're going to have to go with that as you run across it. But if you do, and they might even know what you're doing. Use a jacket or something to catch your magazines. They still may bounce off, but at least it'll break the fall a little bit. Okay, so to start out, I've got 1 round per magazine. Remember, we're on an ammo budget here. 1 round per, and using the handover method, the method originally described, we're going to kind of warm up a little bit. So it's mag out, mag in, slide forward, and on every shot that we fire today, we're going back to last week's episode, we're going to stage the shot, press the trigger to try to maximize the fundamentals in the drill. All right, let's go to work. Okay, I'm going to load. All right, starting from a high ready. Stand by. Mag out, mag in, slide forward. Stage and press. Mag out, mag in, slide forward, stage and press. Out of ammo. Okay, and you can see, I just in my natural position, the jacket caught all the magazines without anything hitting the ground. Okay, so now Terry's going to go through the same exercise. Stand by, threat. Okay, so now that we've gone through the handover method a few times, we're going to advance to using the slide lock release method on that. Okay, remember, as you go through the mag out phase, okay, you're going to pull the pistol toward the thumb. Those two things are going to work together, a little counter pressure there. Mag in, okay, the thumb is placed over the slide lock to get that counter pressure to automatically slide forward. Okay, so let's go through this slow and easy. Okay, working out of a high ready. Remember, stage and press. Stand by. Mag out, mag in, slide, mag out, thumb in place, mag in, and I'm doing my stage and press. Got 3 good center mass hits there. Okay, and we're going to work that repeatedly until we have the have that timing down. Now, we're not going to always go with 1, 1, and 1. We don't want to build up a negative muscle memory, so to speak, but for right now, just to work on the mechanics and save ammo, okay, that's the best way to do it. Here in a few, what we'll do is stagger these magazines so we reload on lock back and not on the count. All right, Terry, so what we're going to do now is we're going to advance to using that slide lock method, okay, position that thumb right on top of the slide lock, so as soon as that magazine seats, just the movement, the automatic movement is going to drop the slide for you. Okay, 1, 1, and 1. You go ahead and start from a high ready. Taking your time, remember to stage and press every shot, maximize. Stand by, up. Good. 3 good center mass hits. Okay, so we're going to run this again, and once again I want to emphasize that pistol be in a vertical position when that magazine drops, okay, because that helps facilitate a faster drop than it does. And another issue I see with a lot of newer students is they will actually bring the pistol down in front of their abdominal, okay, to do their reload, and all their focus is down here, not out where the thread is. So by utilizing this method, you always have the pistol in your peripheral vision, or the threat, or both in your peripheral. That's why I call it the peripheral position, okay? So once again, It's going to look like this. Stand by. Threat. Vertical drop. Vertical drop. Out of ammo. 3 good hits. Work on it. All right, Terry, let's run it. What I want you to think about and work about is keeping that pistol in that vertical position until the magazine clears. Then bring the pistol into your peripheral to where the magazine well and the magazine are looking at each other. During that time, that's when your thumb will move right over the top of the slide lock. Okay, so slow it easy. I want you to isolate every move in there and stage and press the trigger. Stand by. Threat. Vertical drop. Magazine well, magazine look at each other. Vertical drop. Magazine well, magazine look at each other. Nice.
Out of ammo.
Good. Okay, now we've done that a few hundred times, in theory. We're going to push for speed a little bit. Now, I'm going to reload faster, but I'm still going to stage and press my trigger. Now, this takes a little bit of mental effort here to do this as well, because a lot of shooters, when they reload fast, they want to shoot fast. You don't have to do that, okay? The shot still has to count, okay? And once again, we're working on that ammo budget here, so I'm going to stage and press every shot to keep working on the fundamental. But a combat reload is also, it's what I consider a master key move, okay? So we're not utilizing more ammo just by practicing the reload faster and faster. Let's see what we can come up with, okay? All right, ready? Stand by. Out of ammo. And you can see the fluidity to be gained with that, all right? And I still staged and pressed every shot, but once again, this is one of those exercises you can't do enough, okay? And you can see the fluidity that I'm getting with that, and by practicing the mechanics slow, it'll let you cut time off your speed as I just did.
Okay, now I'm going to try and break that habit because I'm so used to doing that handover.
Right.
And I get exactly what you're saying. If I can use that opposition, it makes it so much faster to push back on target.
And we're not saying that, and I like the word opposition, okay? And we're not saying that the handover is bad. As I explained in the first, that is the most secure way and sure way to do a reload, okay? Right. But then again, if we're shooting in a match, or if we're, wanting to raise our level up to mastery, so to speak, then this is something else to cut some nanoseconds off your time. So anyway, just isolate the moves, Terry. Take your time. Okay. Don't get in a hurry with it, and just feel your way through every part of it. Okay, 1, 1, and 1. Shooter ready. Stand by. Up. Vertical position. There you go. Vertical position, thumb in place. So how much would you say time-wise difference between having the thumb in place and not having the thumb in place to facilitate that slide release?
Having the thumb in place, so you can watch between that second and that third shot, I didn't have the thumb in place.
Right.
And you can see the delay. Obviously I want to hand over, and I'm trying not to because I'm trying to break that habit. But you can see the difference in speed of sending the slide forward by having that opposition and back on target. It's there. You can see it.
Right.
So,
well, here's what we're going to do. Let's do this again, Terry. Let's load up 1, 2, and 3. And just that way we can kind of stagger the order. We're still not using a mass amount of ammo, but we're going to get it done with kind of a staggered round count. Okay, so we got 1, 2, and 3 mags, and I'm just kind of shuffling the order up a little bit. So Terry doesn't really know what order they're in. Go ahead and place those in your magazine pouch now. And what this is going to do, this is going to cause him to reload on lockback, not on the count. Because like I said, we don't want to just shoot 1, 1, and 1 or 2, 2, and 2 repeatedly. We want to keep, working for the sensation of the weapon, the sensitivity. When it locks back, that's the key to reload, not by the count. All right, Terry, go ahead and load. Come to high ready. All right, now just work through the moves, okay? 3 magazines, combat reload, stand by, threat. Get that vertical drop.
Get that vertical drop, that's the one that's...
Okay, now freeze after this one. Okay, now use the movement of the left hand to reposition the pistol. Okay?
So you're saying pull it.
It's slight, it's subtle. But as you reposition, that's when the thumb will make contact with the magazine release. Okay? So it's like your left hand is positioning the pistol, and at the same time, we got two forces moving towards each other. The pistol moves towards the thumb and vice versa, and that's what causes the release. Okay?
You're creating that opposition again. So I've taken the shot. It's moving slightly.
That's it. And this hand's gone. It's down there already for your next magazine.
Because it's already going to the next magazine.
Now, as that mag is purchased, your thumb is over the top, and as you insert, and then as you reacquire a grip, you should be right back where you started again. So if you want to get faster at your mag changes, at your combat reloads, you have to slow it down to that level. Okay? And break it down and work, or else we'll just keep doing what we've always done. And I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying, since we've got time and there's, I mean, it's actually kind of boring right now, right?
It is.
There's not a lot to do. I mean, this is something we work on our reload speed. So, okay, good enough. Let's give it a couple more runs.
Excellent.
All right, we're still going to stage and press as we run through the process. The mags are all mixed up. Stand by. Threat.
Throw me a bag!
Hey, that had nothing to do with the reload right there. Okay, we're going to run through all three magazines. Okay, we're still going to stage and press, so I'm not going to shoot fast, but I'm going to see if I can take a little bit of time off my combat reload using the slide lock method. Stand by. Threat! Ammo. All right, Terry, 3 magazines, combat reload drill. Work through it, okay? Isolate every move of the exchange, okay?
Got it.
And that's the only way you get comfortable with things. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Up! Vertical drop, thumb in position. Now that last one, that was spot on. As soon as that mag seated, that slide went forward. I mean, it was it was built to work together.
I still find myself hiccuping because I so badly want to come hand over, just out of habit.
Right.
And so you're right, I got to break those movements down individually.
Well, let's hit one more for the folks at home, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, Terry, make an extra effort to slow that combat reload down and isolate the moves. Try to get that vertical drop in there. Stand by. Up.
Out of ammo.
Best one yet. Okay, so I've repainted my target. Once again, I want to reload fast, but work the fundamentals on my shooting. Stand by. Threat! All right, Terry, we'll go ahead and wrap on that one there and go ahead and call it a wrap. But once again, like I said, this is not for everybody. It's just for those who want to push it maybe to that next level. And that hand-over method is, without a doubt, the surest way to effect a combat reload error-free, don't you think?
No, it is. And for me, that for years, that's how that's been drilled into me is hand over, hand over, hand over. You're always going to get a round seated. So trying to build muscle memory to get that opposition now, it throws me a little bit, but I can see the benefit.
Right.
It's so much faster.
Well, and going back to our first progression, we always teach that hand-over method also. Okay, so But hey, you know, I mean, you did great. Let's go run it a few more times. We can let you guys do a little bit of dry practice at home, and I got some ammo left. How about you?
Let's do it.
Let's go do it some more. All right, we'll see y'all on the next one. So there you have it. There's some of my thoughts on the combat reload. As we discussed, this particular method, more advanced method, is not for everyone. But if you're looking for ways to enhance your speed and your reload, either for self-defense or for shooting in a match, try out the fundamentals and the steps that we just highlighted in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe and stay healthy. And remember, if you're not training, you ought to be. If you're not training at Weapons Academy, come check us out and see what we're doing. We'll see you on the next episode.